Gustavo Adolfo Uribe here, and we're going to talk about microphones. All right, so this is microphones in a nutshell. Everything you need to know to get started doing recording at your home, or if you just want to learn more about it, this is the video for you. Okay, so first of all, there's different types of microphones to get different kinds of sounds and different applications for those types of microphones. Okay. So, first of all, let's talk about this. Whoop, dynamic mic. This is a Shure 58. This is a standard mic for stage, stage mic, or if you want to do some demo tracks. This is the perfect mic for you. It's about $100. Highly recommend it. You could even get the bigger Shure SM7B. That's like for broadcast, and it was kind of a big boom mic, big looking mic, and that's a mic that's used, like I said, for broadcast, like radio stuff. And Michael Jackson used that mic a lot for his recordings. That was the mic of choice. I got the info from the Bruce Sweden method. Check that book out if you haven't yet. It's the engineer who did Michael Jackson's recordings. Great book. You can learn a lot from that book. Anyways, and this mic, what makes it a dynamic mic is that it has a coil. It works via a coil, a little spring, and the sound pressure moves the spring, and that's what makes the sound. Okay, and so this microphone, because it uses sound pressure of the coil, the spring moving, you have to get pretty close to it to get a sound. So it's pretty rough. It's pretty reliable, rugged, and the only drawback is that the high end is kind of like it's kind of slopes down. It's not that bright, it's not that clear, it's not that crisp. But if you do some EQing, you can get a really good sound out of it. And yeah, that's pretty much it for that. The next mic we're gonna show is a condenser mic. And condenser mic is the most popular one for recording vocals. You can also record, instruments, overhead cymbals or whatever. What makes this condenser mic a condenser is that it has two magnets, two circle magnets. Okay, and there's a charge between them, and so when you do your vocals, that electric charge between the magnets is gonna make that sound. So the characteristic sound of that is a very clean, very crisp sound. The low end condenser mics usually kind of harsh sounding on the top end, in my opinion. A little bit kind of has a bite to it. The higher end condenser mics are pretty expensive. Industry standards are the Neumann U87, Neumann M149. I used to have a U87, by the way, back in the day, but I sold it because, hard times, whatever. But it was pretty sweet. It was a sweet mic. Now I got it for like 1,200, I think it was at that time, and now they sell for like $3,000 or something. So shouldn't have done that. And I had an Avalon preamp too. It was pretty sick. But anyways, whatever. Moving on. So this is my homie's mic that he does for home recording. This is I don't know what this mic is, but I mean it's decent. It gets the job done. But I'm gonna put my mic recommendations on the description if you're interested in that. Okay, so you could check it out. Now then, there's another type of mic. And that mic is the ribbon mic. And this is a Royer 121. This is my baby. This mic actually has a Grammy Award for microphone technology, which is pretty cool. And these are about like $1,200, something like that. I got this. I think I got it used actually. And typically, you want to buy microphones new, but I think this one was like not even used or something. It was like they opened it and then they're, I don't know what the hell, but you want to really take good care of your mics. And what makes a ribbon mic is it works with the ribbon, and that ribbon will fluctuate with the sound pressure. So it's kind of like a dynamic. It's a dynamic mic in the sense that you're using sound pressure to move the 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 instrument or whatever. But what gives it that sound is that it's very smooth, very warm. The high end is not as bright as the condenser mic, but you get an incredible natural warmth to it that you can't get with any other mic. And ribbon mics are typically very fragile. You have to be very careful with it, and you can't blow on it, you know, like like that, or go like this to it, because then you might damage the ribbon filament. So you gotta be really careful with ribbon mics. Of course, they're not as fragile as they used to be back in like, you know, the 20s or 40s or whatever, but still, I mean, I would you know, any microphone, you got to be careful with it. So that's microphones. Now I'm going to talk real quick about preamplifiers. So what that does is basically it's a device that takes the signal and it cranks up the gain and it goes into your recording device. So in this example, this is my UA classic vacuum tube mic pre and DI box. I think this is like around $800 or something like that, and it's just basically it makes it louder. And you don't really need a microphone preamp. If you're really on a budget, you can just go straight into your audio interface. Like I could use my ribbon mic. I tested it and it, you know, it sounds really clean in my recording interface, but it's not that loud. So when you're tracking, when you're doing your recording, you can't really like hear yourself that like loudly, you know. I mean, you could crank the gain up or whatever, but when you're using one of these preamps, like a really nice high-end preamp like this, you know, it's so clear that you can, like, it's like a microscope. And when you're tracking, everything's so much easier. It's so much easier. You can hear like all the nuance, and it makes you actually deliver a better performance because you're able to monitor yourself in a way that you can't without one. So if you got the money, or, you know, save up, get a credit card, whatever, you know, definitely get one if you can. There's different types of there's different kinds of preamps. This one is a tube preamp. So what that does is, like, they have like little, you know, glass tubes, and that's the electronic component characteristic to this. It gives it a really warm, like, in your kind of, you're just surrounded by warmth type of sound. So this, you know, it's kind of hard to explain. It's just, you could put like a tube emulator on your DAW or digital thing, and it'll sound like a lot better, like very, you know, much more better. But when you use the real thing, it's like a whole nother dimension. It's like it just, you gotta try it out. Now the drawback to these guys is that if you're gonna use a vacuum tube vacuum, you're gonna get a really cool sound, but it's gonna be kind of somewhat noisy, in the sense that if your room is not treated, or, you know, you got a lot of background noise or whatever, it's gonna pick it up. So for me, like, I've acoustically treated my room, but even with this thing, I, you know, even with everything like closed and the windows and all that shit, you know, I could hear birds outside. That's how crazy it is. So I used a noise gate, to basically on the software, basically whatever is below a certain threshold, it'll cut the sound, so it helps out. It's not a completely like professional 100% sound, but it's about 98%, 97%. So I'm pretty happy with the results. There's other kinds of preamps. There's that you could use, and I'll put some descriptions. I'll put some links in the descriptions of some of them that are pretty, you know, well known or whatever. And you don't have to get a vacuum tube one. There's ones that, you know, they got like really big transformers on the electric components, and that sounds really good too. So, and I think there's even some digital ones that sound pretty good. But for the most part, you know, if you're gonna spend around $1,000 on a preamp, um, it's not a bad investment. And some of them even have what's called a vocal strip, which will have the preamp and it'll have like an EQ and a compressor and stuff like that, which is kind of like an all-in-one type of unit. And those are, you know, pretty recommended as well. Otherwise, you're gonna do you can do the EQ and compressor on the software, and it'll sound good too. So now we're going to move on to another part of mics. I'm trying to keep these videos pretty short. I'm going to move the camera here. Alright. Okay, so this is for actually the actual setup of the microphone. So step number one, you got to get really good cables. I have these XLR. Hold up. XLR cables. These are Mogami. So I would, you know, just go on eBay and get some Mogami cables for the microphone. What they'll do is they'll have people sell like the actual Mogami cable with like a Nutrix XLR thing, and they'll just like custom connect them together. Because if you just go on like Amazon and buy the Mogami cable, it'll be like $40 for like a 3-foot cable. They're really expensive, but they're worth it. They're worth it. I mean, if you're gonna spend $1,000 on, you know, a microphone or something, you might as well get high quality cables, because you'd be surprised, you know, like in audio recording, every single part of the signal chain from microphone to the cable, the preamp, the DA converter, you know, whatever, all the whole thing. The higher the quality, the better sound you're gonna get. You get what you pay for in audio land. Definitely. Okay, so that's important. And then this is right here is a mic gobo shield. This one was like $80 on Amazon. It's pretty deluxe. And honestly, you know, you really have to treat your room. So if you could see behind it, there's acoustic tiles and stuff. You want to get all the echo out of your room. So when you're clapping your hands, you can tell my room is pretty dead. That's super important. So you got to do that and get one of these mic shields also, just for extra safety, on making that a dry sound. That way you could add the reverb on your software or your hardware, whatever, and you'll get a nice clean sound. Okay, so that's the shield, and then this right here, this is the I don't know if you can see it, but it's a shock mount with a pop filter, and this is cool. I got it on Amazon. All the links in the description. This has a double mesh, so take out the p sounds. So this is pretty cool. It's like $6. For the ribbon mic that I see with microphones, they all have like different mounting. So for example, this condenser mic, you can see that it has threads on there. So when you buy something like this, they're usually made for these condenser mics, and they just screw on, and it's really easy. However, um, this condenser mic does not have that. As you can see, you have to get it like a clip or whatever, or a shock mount with rubber bands in between them. I'll just, oh, I can't really unscrew this right now, but it would have like rubber bands where it would just like, you could just kind of go in like that and it'll hold it. Also, or a clip, for example, this ribbon mic does not have a screw or anything like that, so I have to use a shock mount that has rubber bands that holds it in place. So for this particular shock mount, I actually had to get another shock mount and kind of fix it in this shock mount, and it's kind of complicated. If you have questions on how to do that, you could message me in the comments, and I'll do a video of how I actually did that, because it was pretty like some a MacGyver type handyman stuff, but I pulled it off and it works. So that's what you need to get, and get a mic stand, and this also have a sandbag for the mic stand so it doesn't fall over accidentally. You could get these like a pack of them, fill them with a little bit of rocks or whatever, and that is really handy. You'd be surprised how handy these sandbags are. And if you do video and stuff too, then definitely just get a set. They're real cheap. Alright, so that's pretty much that. Oh, and then for this particular build that I did, let me move the camera up a little bit. Let's see here. As you can see, on this build, I have a this clip right here is a phone holder, so you can put your lyrics on your phone, and it's really easy. This, if you can see here, okay, so this particular, what I like about this particular Gobo mic shield is that it comes with these little screw things, and then what I did is I got a PVC pipe at the hardware store, real cheap, with the little T-bar thing, and I cut it, and I put those extra parts here, so you could put your headphones here, and then you could clip this phone holder here, and then that way everything's like ready to go. You know what I'm saying? Put your phone in there, you can read your lyrics and spit right here. So that's, I wanted to hold on a second. So I wanted to share that with you guys, how I actually did it for mic stuff. Again, if you have any other questions, want me to go in detail, let me know. If this video is helpful for you, then please, like it. Yeah, cool. All right, thanks for watching.